What's up? Tim Werner here again. And today I want to talk about the value of IT certification. I don't only have Microsoft in my own certification portfolio, and this just speaks to the fact that I'm a generalist. However, when I give specific examples, I will use Microsoft because frankly, they're a good reference, they're a good case study, and I've got 25 years of experience in that particular certification ecosystem anyway. So, I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 good justifications for you investing the time, money, and effort in earning one or more information technology certifications, whether those are vendor specific, like Cisco, Microsoft, Apple, or whatever, or vendor neutral, like some of the ISC squared security credentials or the CompTIA credentials are not tied to a particular technology vendor. Reason number 1 why IT certifications have value is that you may not have a choice. That is to say, if you want to work for a Microsoft partner, for example, it may be a requirement of your employment and their status to maintain partner status to have X number of certified people. Another example would be if you're contracting with the government. In the US, if you're contracting with the federal government, there's a high likelihood that as a vendor, you'll be required to hold certain industry certifications, you see. So there, it's an easy lift because there's really no choice involved. You're going to have to get certified, and therefore you'll need to buff up on your theory, practice, and exam, computer-based exam strategies. Another value of IT certification that you do have a choice over is emphasizing your value. Think about being a hiring manager and you're hiring for a role and it gets down to the top 2 candidates. And at first inspection, they're equally qualified, so you really feel a bit in a dilemma. You can only hire one person. Happens that person A has a certification, person B doesn't. To me, that would serve as a differentiator. Why? Because although I might not know exactly how that person came to be certified, maybe they were forced to do so in their current or a past role, but there's also the possibility, and I would dig into this in an interview situation, that the person earned the certification as a self-directed goal to improve their value in the IT marketplace. I would submit to you that having those certs does nothing but emphasize your value. And in a crowded job market, you definitely want to do everything you can to differentiate yourself from the competitors, from the competition. A third value of IT certification is if you have an incentive to get certified. A good situation, for example, would be you work for a company that values continuing education and values certification, and they will finance or pay for your exam prep and the exams themselves. Because let's face it, IT certification exams are not inexpensive. That's a really nice thing. And I miss Microsoft in the sense that when I worked for Microsoft, all Microsoft full-timers can take as many certification exams as they want for free. That was a good time, I'll tell you. I wish I had that benefit now. But if you work for a company that does value that continuing education, please, why not take advantage of it? And that actually feeds into the next value of IT certification, and that is your certifications are portable. It's not like if you work for company X and you earn certification Y becomes expired or invalid when you move on to another role. No, you take the certs with you, and this is a calculated risk that your employer would have. Certainly an employer who is paying for their employees to get certified, it's in their interest to have certified versus non-certified IT professionals working for them. But at the same time, you know as well as I do, they're also thinking, how many of our staff are just going to stay here long enough to cert up and then they're going to book for the door? You see what I mean? I mean, that's part of life. It's a calculated, it's a known unknown from the company's standpoint. But yeah, you can take your certs with you, eminently portable. Lastly, I would say that IT certification gives you a great excuse for continuing education. Hopefully you're in IT because you really love the work, and putting in the reps and putting in the hours for continuing education isn't a chore, it's actually a pleasure, at least most of the time. I hope that's the case. You'll find that most certifications now have a renewal policy. Microsoft has a really sharp one in which every year you need to renew your certification, but it's free. You don't have to pay another 165 USD like you did when you first earned the certification. And not only are the renewals open book, but Microsoft is actually putting their certification exams themselves on a limited open book status. Now, I've heard some people rumble saying, that's devaluing the certification. I don't think so. I think Microsoft is really on the right track because as a working IT professional, if you need to know some bit of trivia, what is the maximum number of virtual machines I can deploy in a single Azure subscription? Or what are the pricing details or the long-term retention details for this product? That's trivia that in the real world we find just like that by doing a quick Google or Bing search, So to include that kind of content on a test, that devalues the certification, in my humble opinion. So giving candidates the ability to consult the docs is consistent with real-world IT practice, and I think it's a great idea. And it's all in support of the fact that we're here to build our skills, keep our skills current, and future-proof our IT careers as much as possible. Now more than ever before, with, again, the market being as volatile and as scary as it is right now, anything you can do to put a shine on yourself, professionally speaking, is a very good idea indeed. Lastly, it occurs to me there's been a concept for the whole 25 years that I've been in the industry of the so-called paper tiger. People who are maybe experienced IT professionals, but they were able to do so without certification, a lot of them. I don't want to generalize too much here. And who take a really skeptical view of new hires who are certified, maybe even assuming unfairly, in my opinion, that they're paper tigers, that they've got the certification, but they don't have the skills and the knowledge to back it up. Now, the issue with that, from a business standpoint, is that you want to be really careful to do strong tech interviews to trap those paper tigers before they come on board, because certainly enrolling or onboarding a new full-timer costs money, and you don't want that money and time and effort to be wasted if the person is truly unqualified for the position. But on the other hand, you got to start somewhere, and I certainly have helped many people over the years get into IT, and they earned one or more elementary certifications to help them get their feet in the door. And there, I would hope that the business understands that because they're taking on a newbie or a greenhorn, you can't expect them, with certification or not, to have the road miles on them that an experienced IT professional would. So I tend to dismiss those arguments against the paper tiger. Eventually, as the great Shakespeare, that great IT professional in the sky, William Shakespeare, said, the truth will out. If somebody is a paper tiger, eventually they'll be challenged to demonstrate what they know, and if they don't know it, they're going to wash out. And also, unfortunately, people who get into IT for the wrong reasons, generally just for money, and realize that not only is the work difficult and taxing, but you really have to have an always learning, eternal student perspective in order to succeed, in order to have any kind of job security. I've seen people realize, I made a mistake. Yeah, the money is nice, but I don't have the passion for this stuff, so I better get out. And it's good to know that and good to recognize that, certainly if that's the case. Well, there you have it. I hope that I made a solid case for certification. I don't have any financial motivation as such to do these videos. I'm simply passing on my understanding, I guess it goes without saying, but I'm actually going to say it anyway, is that this is just one person's opinion. I'm speaking on behalf of no employer that I've had, present or past or future. I'm speaking only for myself, so you can take or leave exactly what you want. There you have it. I'll see you in the next episode. Later. Thank you.